Hey guys, good morning. How is everybody doing? Let me know if you can hear me okay. I hope everybody is having a good week so far. I can't believe it's already Wednesday. Let me pop out the chat. Hey Lindsay, hey Batty, hey AB. How is everybody this morning? Oh, that's so good. You only had 2 classes. Hey Raylan, hey the Lady Rivera, hey Sophia, how's everybody doing? I guess I should stop saying this morning because I'm probably the only person on the West Coast here right now. I always forget it's afternoon and evening where everybody else is when I'm doing my stuff. And let me tell you, I wake up very early in the morning. Like I'm up between 4:30 and 5 a.m. And I still feel like I'm so behind the rest of the world. Like everybody else has been up and going for at least 3 hours at minimum if they're on the East Coast. So I feel like there's already like when I get online and look at like news and the blogs, like so much already happened this morning. So okay, I was like, well, there's somebody else on the West Coast with me. Yay! Hey, Sana, how are you? So okay, at least I'm not completely alone here because I always feel like, oh, I'm probably one of the few people over here. How is everybody? How is everybody's week going so far? We have, 2 more days until we're officially in Mercury retrograde. For me, Mercury retrograde starts as soon as the shadow period hits. I feel like I get my ass kicked more during the pre-shadow phase, usually, than I do during the middle of Mercury retrograde. Last week was like everything was just glitching out for me. So, hey, Kel. Oh, 1 more week of school. You're so lucky. As of this Friday, it will be, a month until kiddo's done with school for the year. I feel like his 6th grade year just flew by. But last year felt like forever because we were going through so much with him breaking his leg and all the physical therapy and doctor's appointments and trying to recover and all the home exercises and everything that we had to do, and then trying to manage online school in the middle of that. And then let him go back to school for the last month of it. That this year just feels like it's flown. So I know this week is very intense because we also have, I'm Googling it to make sure. Okay, tomorrow is the new moon. And I think it's like a lunar eclipse too, or it's a solar eclipse. Hold on. It's a hybrid new moon solar eclipse tomorrow. So that explains a lot too, because I have felt like so freaking like tired and drag-assy too this week. Last week too, but this week too has just been like dragging ass. So it's been a lot. Damn it, I should have. I'm trying to pull up, shit. What the hell is my damn? I'm trying to remember my iCloud account because I like set myself a note on things that I wanted us to talk about and then forgot that it was gonna make me sign into my iCloud and I'm like, oh my god, what is my iCloud user? I know what the password is. I can't remember the damn user. Now it's probably gonna be like, you tried too many times. Okay, never mind. I'll just try to remember everything. Okay, so, oh, that's okay, Sana. Don't worry about it. I know you're like so many hours ahead of us, so I know, Lindsay, I feel like he just started back at school again. It's crazy how this time is flying. Hi, Hannah. Hey, Zay. Hey, Raquea. Hey, Ramon. I hope I said your name right. Yes, and congratulations on the new job, Sana. So this isn't like a typical like live reading anything. It's really just a gossip and talk some shit because I had some time. I was originally supposed to go to the doctor this morning, but my doctor was sick. So they canceled my appointment yesterday. So I was like, let me just do a little gossipy live on the backup channel. We can hang out and drink some coffee because it is minimum day for kiddos, so I have to leave early. So Wednesdays, I usually don't take calls and I do pre-record the videos and do any life stuff that I need to take care of and then do lives and Patreon in the evening. But our Patreon live is tomorrow night because we're doing money spells together. So we're taking advantage of that. And then I took some calls this morning instead. Really, that's the first time. I've had that happen a couple of times in life that like the dentist or the doctor had to reschedule appointments because they were out sick. And listen, I would much rather have my doctor be like, I can't come in and work because I'm sick rather than like see me for something that wasn't about me being sick and then get me sick. Because it was just to go in and test my iron levels and have a quick checkup. So it wasn't like it was anything that was like, oh my God, no, I needed to see you today anyways. It was just a regular pre-scheduled visit. Oh, happy birthday, Diamond. Happy birthday, lady. And hey, Cal, if I didn't say hi to you, you usually get doctors that go on vacation. I don't feel like my doctor ever goes on vacation. He's like semi-retired. So and he doesn't really work in the town that I'm in. He has an office that he shares with another doctor that he just has like one little room in. So he just comes like on certain days of the week here. It's usually only like Mondays or Wednesdays and it alternates, I think, that he comes, and then the rest of the time he actually does telemedicine from his house because my doctor is kind of weird. He's a psychiatrist and a general doctor, and he also specializes in like neurology. So he's like Mr. All-in-One. Hey, Zora. So Nikki's always, hey Cece, but Nikki's always talked about like making out with girls and stuff since she came out. So I don't think her saying different things recently is anything new for her. I think it's just that maybe people forgot. I mean, she has a whole line in a song, I might kiss the baddest bitch if you dare me. And she used to be out there signing girls' boobs. So it's like, I don't know, it's not anything different to me. I'm just like, oh, that's what she always does. Um, but remember, guys, if you are in the Patreon, this is a live on YouTube, so don't talk about Patreon stuff in here. And if you do want to join the Patreon, it is patreon.com/psychicbellowlove. That's the only place I take requests for celebrity readings, and then we also have exclusive content. So I think Nikki's like a play bisexual, if that makes sense. Like, I think other girls are pretty and I would like make out with them if I was drunk enough, but like I don't want to be in a relationship with one and I don't want to have sex with one. You know, there's a lot of girls out there that kind of dibble and dabble like that. So, I know a lot of the people in the community though, like, don't like the ones that sort of play around though, but I mean, it is what it is, right? And I think that that's the thing too, like for people who are bisexual or pansexual, you may be attracted to all genders, but maybe you have a preference for who you like to be in relationships with. So listen, I'm straight. That's how I identify. Sometimes I'm honestly jealous and I wish that I could like girls and just get me a stud and not have to deal with men, but my attraction is not set up that way, and I would just be wasting somebody's time if I tried to do that. So I'm just like, okay, we'll still keep dating men and hope for the best instead. But it's all love over here, however anybody identifies. Love is love, and guess what? If more people, I always believe this, we've all been different races, different cultural backgrounds, different genders, identified as gay, straight, whatever in past lives. So if more people, I think, did past life readings and they knew, like, oh, I was a gay black man in another lifetime, maybe it would cut down on some of the racism and homophobia. Because at that point, it's like, oh, you still want to be racist? You're hating yourself because you were a gay black man in your last life. Now it's just self-hate, right? But, you know, it is what it is. Listen, even in my past lives when I was a man, I was asexual or a gay man. I just can't. I guess I've never been into women in any lifetime like that, but I love my women friends. Oh, I'm glad you liked it, Hannah. And if anybody does want to book a reading, there's actually one appointment left on Saturday and one appointment left on Friday because somebody had pre-booked like a long time ago um, 2 appointments that both landed on Friday at different times, and then they realized it and rescheduled because they're not going to be in town. So I have a very rare opening coming up soon. So if you did want to book one, um, either for Friday or Saturday, they're both morning appointments that are available. PsychicBellaLove.com, and you can use code Easter to get $15 off. It's first come, first serve. Other than that, there's some appointments open next week. So, yes, Whitney is doing so much better, you guys. She was back to acting like her little normal crazy butt self yesterday. She's actually taking a nap right now, although she was very interested when I was setting up the ring light. So I'm like, I keep looking at her because she's asleep over there, and I'm like, she might end up waking up and running over here and trying to get involved, because I swear to God, she'll be half asleep and like ready to just knock out for her daytime nap. And the second I turn the camera on, she's like, oh, gotta wake up and go to work and help mom, and then has to be all up in the background giving her 2 cents. So, yes, she gets anxiety really bad, you guys. So it was really bad when she first moved in. She was being, for those who don't know, she was being fostered by one of my neighbors. They were not nice to her while they were fostering her, and then she ended up outside. I don't want to go there because then my day will be ruined if I get into all the details about it. But in the 10 months that she has been with me, she has definitely calmed down with the anxiety and healed quite a bit. She's no longer scared of pillows and blankets like she used to be. So, but if she doesn't get the crazy anxiety that she used to, but she does get anxiety attacks. And at first the vet wanted to put her like on like gabapentin or some kind of anxiety medicine. And I've seen videos and stuff of other cats that have been on anxiety medicine, and they're basically just little zombies. And I didn't want to do that to her. So we've been doing Reiki healing. She loves crystals. She will literally steal crystals, the pocket-sized ones, and put them in her bed with her sometimes. And she also likes to smell candles. Like when I get a new scented candle, she always wants to smell it. And she loves Kanye West. So we've been, definitely working through things with her. So she's done a lot of healing, thank goodness. Yeah, I don't like anxiety medicine. I've dealt with anxiety my whole life, and I hate how I feel on it. I would much rather treat it with marijuana and meditation myself than to end up on any kind of, take a Xanny or anything like that. So, oh, I'm sorry, guys, if you do have anxiety. It's so hard. Oh, okay. I mean, I'm a Reiki healer too, so when I was like getting my Reiki training, I practiced on all of the animals. So they were my biggest, that's why I was like, it's so easy for me to do Reiki on animals, because that was like my practice subject. I did it on my mom's dog all the time. I used to do it on my grandparents' dog. There's some cats outside that I'm like, if I can get a hold of you, I'm going to do some healings on you guys. So, oh, I'm glad that you like it. Listen, there is absolutely nothing wrong if you take medications for your mental health. No judgment. You gotta listen, I always say this, if somebody had stomach aches all the time, everybody would be insisting, go to the doctor and go figure out what's wrong. Like, why are you suffering? It's the same thing when it comes to our emotional well-being. You got to take care of that. That's not something that you can just ignore, and it won't get better until you find ways to deal with it. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with the medications. I personally just didn't like how I felt on them, but I know that they help a lot of other people, and if it's helping you, then please make sure that you are, doing whatever does work. Hey Teddy, hey Riss. Yeah, and that's the thing too, you guys. They put so much stuff in our food these days. There's so many toxic chemicals in literally everything, whether it's our shampoo, our body wash, chemtrails being thrown around in the sky, like all that kind of stuff, that it's no wonder that so many people and so many more people these days have depression or any other mental health issues that are caused by a chemical imbalance. Because, it's not always, oh, you were abused as a kid and you have all this trauma. Sometimes it really is just a chemical imbalance that needs to be dealt with medication. And, like I said, it's no surprise, seeing as all the shit that's thrown at us on a daily basis. So, oh, hey, motivated queen. Yeah, even the low doses can help. When I was on it, they gave me Boost Bar and Lexapro, like to take daily, and then I tried to just do Boost Bar instead of Lexapro, because Lexapro used to make me so tired, but also made me feel like I had no emotion whatsoever, and then I used to get like the worst like migraines. So that's why I stopped taking it, and then they gave me Ativan and Xanax for like actual panic attacks. But I just felt like, oh my God, this is like so much to be taking. And when I was born, I was in the hospital for weeks afterwards because I had extreme jaundice. Like my grandpa always used to joke that when I was first born, I was really dark skinned and I had black hair. And then by the time that they took me home from the hospital, all my hair had fallen out and started growing back in like really blonde, and I was light skinned. And he's like, I think they switched kids on us. It was this joke. I look exactly like my great grandpa and his mom. But so because like the way that I was born and the stuff I was stacked up against, like from the time I was a newborn, I have to be very careful about my liver and kidneys. So that's why I really try to avoid taking like pain medications or any types of medications long term if I can, just because I don't want to risk anything later on. Hey, Bubbles. Oh my goodness. Yes, you guys. We are definitely we're rocking it, you guys. And on Friday, we get a loan from Nikki and Ken Petras. And like I keep saying, this is our chance, you guys, to really push Nikki and dominate the charts right now. So, yeah, vitamin D is really good for mental health. And on top of it, most of us are vitamin D and B deficient, especially if you are a person of color anyways. Because, usually those things are supposed to come from food sources. However, the American diet is so screwed up, and on top of it, it coming from food sources is because of usually like the food that they eat and the soil and all that stuff, and because the soil has been so compromised with all of the pesticides and whatnot, it's really important that we supplement with those things. But always check with your doctor too. But especially for women, we have to stay on top of our stuff. I know I can't wait to hear Kim Petras' song. So, I hate processed food. I always feel so gross after I eat it. Like, I hate, what the number one thing that I feel so nasty after I eat is? McDonald's. Like, how people joke and say, like, when you eat Chinese food, like, you get full really fast, but then, like, an hour later, like, you'll be starving again. That's how I feel when I eat McDonald's. Like, I'll feel like I'm so full after I eat it, like, no matter even if it's, like, a Happy Meal or, like, just a small French fry. But then, like, an hour later, I feel, like, so gross, but so hungry again. It's the weirdest thing, like, and I almost feel like the next day, too, like, after I eat McDonald's, I feel the same way, like, I do if I drank the day before. Not enough so, like, I'm hungover, like, but I just can really tell, like, how, like, drinking affects my body, and, like, it throws everything off, and almost, like, my system is, like, fighting to, like, get itself back to, like, normal again afterwards. And I feel the same way when I eat McDonald's. It's so gross. I know McDonald's is so nasty, like all the extra crap that they put in it too. So yeah, you definitely have to work on your gut health because it really does affect your hormones and your mental health as well. So yes, home cooked food is always going to be the best because then you have control over how much salt and sugar and things are in it. But hey, Marie, and hey, Cece, if I didn't say hi to you, and hi, Motivated Queen. Yeah, and it's so weird. Like McDonald's fries also have like some kind of animal thing in it, beef fat or something like that too. It's like, why is there all these extra weird ass ingredients? Milk, gluten, beef stuff, like in French fries. I didn't know that there was all that stuff in it until I was vegan for a while, and then I was like, wait, like you can't eat. There's literally like nothing at McDonald's other than like a cup of ice water that you could eat as a vegan there. I mean, that's the one thing I'll give Taco Bell. If you're a vegan or a vegetarian, you can still get your grub on it, Taco Bell, but McDonald's, like, don't even think about it. But it was just like when I found out all of that, I'm like, why the F is that? Like, just cut up some damn potatoes and fry them. Like, why do you need all the extra weird shit? Like, it's supposed to just be a damn fried potato. So, fresh made French fries are so damn good too. Oh my God. I have to say, Arby's has the best fries. There's nothing I would want to eat at Arby's other than the French fries though. And thank God they sell them in the bag that you can get from the store. I'd be getting my grub on with them Arby fries at home. I swear. Mix up some hot sauce, garlic and onion powder, black pepper, and a little bit of salt with some mayonnaise and hot sauce. It's such a good dip for the Arby fries. You can use plain Greek yogurt if you don't want to use mayonnaise for it, but it is so bomb. I use that as like a spread, and like I'll make like fried chicken patties and put them on there and make a sandwich with like lettuce and pickles, and then have some Arby fries on the side and like dip them in the same sauce. It's hella bomb. If y'all didn't know, I love me some hot sauce. I put it on everything. Cholula, Crystal, Tapatio, Frank's Bread hot sauce. Like, I got all of them in the fridge. I'd be throwing them on everything. That was like my biggest craving too when I was pregnant with my son was I wanted everything spicy. I wanted salsa all the time, hot sauce on everything. I would eat the jars of sliced jalapenos like crazy. I cried because somebody ate the rest of the jalapenos. That was like my biggest pregnancy meltdown was me crying because I wanted some jalapenos on my eggs and somebody ate the jalapenos. Hey Kenya, how are you, babe? So the closest Chick-fil-A's to me are like in the next towns. And listen, I don't like Chick-fil-A that much, but I'm gonna drive to the next town to get it. I'm sorry. It's okay. Like I used to eat there like sometimes when I lived in Sacramento, and maybe it was just like that location in Elk Grove. Was it in Elk Grove or South Sac? I can't remember because I lived like right on the edge of town. Like literally, like if you went down the street, it became South Sac. So I don't remember, but it was I don't know. I felt like at that time, like Chick-fil-A was like way overhyped every time I ate it there, but it might have been that location wasn't that great. That I'm just like, I don't like it enough, and I'm gonna go like drive to the next town over. Because, child, the way that the freeways in California are these days, especially living right outside the Bay Area, it's like, do I really want it that bad that I want to get on the damn freeway? Hell fucking no. So, oh my God, Jimmy John's peppers, those are good too. Uh, I swear. Do you know what's so crazy? Is when I was pregnant, I went to go eat with my friend, and we were at a Mexican restaurant, and my son was kicking so much in my stomach that like the table was shaking, and it was one of those booths where like the booth and the table are like cemented to the ground, so I didn't like have room to like scoot back or anything. And I was probably like 7.5 months pregnant at that point. And my friend was like, your baby keeps kicking him because you're burning him with all that salsa that you're eating. Because, like, I got, like, the hottest salsa that they had there, and I was complaining that wasn't hot enough. And he's like, I can't even handle that. It's so spicy. When my son was 3, we went out to eat with that same friend. And I was telling him, like, oh, like, I don't know if you remember Brian, like, but I used to go out to eat with him all the time when I was pregnant because me and him worked near each other, so we would meet for lunch. And my son said, "You told my mom that that she was burning me in her belly and to stop eating all this spicy food." And we were both like, what the hell? And he's like, but I was so happy because my mom was laughing and she was sad all the time when she was pregnant. So I loved when she was around you because you always made her smile. Like, dude, we almost both had a freaking heart attack. We were like, how the hell did you know that? Because I never told him any of that, especially at 3 years old. Dude, he used to have the best memory and like remember everything. Like he could tell you when he was like up until like probably like 5 or 6, like he would tell you like when I was 1, I got this for Christmas and grandma gave it to me and my dad bought me this or that toy for my birthday. Like he could like remember everything. He doesn't so much like anymore. But back then, it like he regularly used to like make us all stop and be like, "What the hell?" So, oh, yeah. Well, can you imagine me being pregnant and having to deal with his dad? Obviously, it wasn't the happiest time of my life. I was happy that I was gonna have him, but I do not enjoy being pregnant. That was not, I could not wait to not be pregnant anymore. So, yeah, freaking Gary ruins everything. Gary is not my baby daddy's real name, by the way, if anybody didn't know that. Mimi Mama gave him that nickname. And so I used to say my baby daddy, Gary from Teen Mom. But then people thought that Gary from Teen Mom really was my baby daddy. And I was like, no. So we just shortened it to Gary. Because I was like, oh, please. Like, not that, like, my Gary is such a prize, but he's still better than Gary from Teen Mom. I was like, please don't think that, like, I actually, like, procreated with that guy. I was like, yeah, me and Amber from Teen Mom are sister wives. We got to get the kids together for Christmases and birthdays. So let's get into some of the gossipy stuff, you guys. Okay, what did everybody think about Lotto's Photoshop fail? Did you believe what she said is her excuse? I mean, the fact that this girl just responds to literally everything, doesn't it remind you of Carlos? Like, Karen, the mistress from Ohio, is definitely giving Carlos vibes, the way that she has to respond to fucking everything and constantly fight with Barbs. She's just trying to model her career after her at this point, and it's like, it's not 2018 during a hate train. This isn't going to work out for you, girl. Like, develop some thick skin and learn to ignore some shit and get in the studio and actually write something for yourself. And write something that people want to listen to. Because at the end of the day, yes, there was a lot of people at Coachella. Guess the fuck what? All those people still would have been there whether you were performing or not, Lotto. And on top of it, that how come you're acting like all these people were there to see you, Otis? How come nobody streams your music or buys it then? Like, something's not translating there, girl. She really is Carlos Jr. at this point. So it's just like, my God, like, I don't understand. You know, this is the thing, like, when it comes to Carlos, too. Why would you want your whole entire career to be predicated off of beefing with anybody, but especially Nikki? Because this is the thing, and I said this in Patreon the other day, what if Nikki just tomorrow was like, you know what, I have enough fucking money. I established myself as the queen of rap. I'm going to go and buy a private island in the Antiguas and take Papa Bear and Kenny and go live there and never, ever talk to any of you again. You never see me in public again. Everything is over with. Then what the fuck are you, Carlos and Lotto and anybody else that has attached themselves to her, going to do then? You can't. Like, there would be nothing left for you. You have to find a way to stand on your own 2 feet and build your own fan base. Not just collect people that hate Nikki, Because guess what? Just because somebody fake supports you on Twitter because they don't like Nicki does not mean that they're going to go to your concert. It doesn't mean that they're going to buy your album or stream your music. They're just drama queens that want to hype you up so that you'll go fight for their own entertainment. And she falls into the trap every time, just like Carlos does. Except, unlike Carlos, she doesn't have Atlantic behind her who is willing to pay for streams and all of that kind of stuff. So, and you see where Carlos is. Now she's terrified to put out another album because Atlantic said, we're not going to pay for awards and fake streams for you this time around. So now she doesn't want to put anything out. Exactly. That's the thing. I was like, we had like 2 years that Nicki wasn't putting out any music because she was pregnant and then recovering from pregnancy, and before that trying to have a baby. And maybe she put out like a single here or there and did a little feature or whatever, but like none of y'all blossomed and bloomed and prospered and flourished in her absence. So that didn't do nothing for nobody. Like, so if y'all were really like, oh my God, the best, don't you think that your career would have blown up when Nicki wasn't doing anything and was on hiatus or on any of her hiatuses? So, well, and this is the thing that annoys me too. Okay, first of all, I've been told everybody, don't trust the neighborhood talk. Kyle moves weird. Everybody that used to work on the Shade Room and got fired from there are all two-faced weirdos that you can't trust. Some of them outright are scammers. But he's very obviously on Carlos and Megan's payroll. And if you hear me say mucus, because we're going to talk about Megan in a minute, that's because that's what we call her in Patreon, and it's just stuck in my brain at this point to call her that. So hard for me to remember to call these people by their real names when I'm doing videos on on YouTube. But he's obviously on the payroll, you know, in the way that he tried to, they put out the Princess Diana EP with all these different versions of the song, trying to like make it seem like it's some kind of a desperate scam. Yet, how many every single artist puts out multiple versions of a song to try to get it to chart, because that's the game that you have to play. Especially the way that Billboard keeps changing the rules every other freaking week. Every artist has done it. Beyonce put out, what, like 14 remixes to cuff it. SZA has been dropping all kinds of remixes to Kill Bill to try to get it to #1. She just had Doja on it. Now they're rumored that Carlos is supposed to be on it. But it's only a problem when Nicki does it. Come on. And let me tell you this too. Has anybody other than the Glorilla Tomorrow 2 song, has anybody in recent times seen their song do anything because Carlos jumped on it? Exactly, Yozora. Look at Taylor Swift. She literally puts out 84 fucking remixes to, and first of all, the 84 remixes are to songs that she put out 20 years ago. It's just that now it's, because I couldn't make Big Machine Records give me my masters for free, even though it's been reported over and over and over and over and over again that she was offered the opportunity to buy them back. So she's okay. Here's Taylor's version of Teardrops on My Guitar, and then you get 184 remixes because this one has a ukulele on it, and the new one has a keyboard on it, and then the next remix has a dog barking in the background. Nobody says shit about that. She gets away with it, and her fans go and eat it up. So, well, and that's the thing too, and this is the thing also. So for Nikki, number one, people always want the instrumentals to her songs because then look what happens. So many people do their own freestyles to it. They want both the sped up and the slowed down instrumentals so that they can do their freestyles to it. Look at how many people did Super Freaky Girl freestyles and remixes. They did it for Fractions and Seeing Green. They've done it for like every song that she puts out. So she's just giving people what they freaking ask for anyway. Carlos is definitely a curse, but so is Megan. Because look at how Revlon made Megan their ambassador and then they immediately went bankrupt. Popeyes gave her hottie sauce and then they had a bunch of stores shutting down because there was rats in them. Like there's neither her, I mean, look at McDonald's. People weren't even going to the McDonald's. They had to pull the meals. My mother-in-law, Gary's mom, works at McDonald's, and she said absolutely not one single person ever came through her drive-through or their counter and ordered any single Carlos and off-cheat meal. And guess what? Where they live in a very small town up in Northern California where there's like literally like McDonald's, Burger King, and Foster Freeze and a Mexican restaurant. And that's literally all that they have in their town. And I think the Mexican restaurant and the Foster's Freeze are technically in the town next to them. And they have a CVS and one grocery store. Like they literally have to go to the next town that's like 30 miles away to even go to Walmart. And people like, she always asks me like, who's this person? Who's that person? Because she's in her late 50s, so she doesn't know who any of these people are when they do a McDonald's meal. She said people were ordering that sweetie meal left and right. They got screamed at for running out of the BTS packaging and putting it in a regular cup and bag. But not one single person ordered the Cardi B and off cheat meal. And she had a couple people that were like, I didn't order this because they put them in the bags. And they thought like they got given like this order that wasn't theirs and they had to explain like it's just a branded bag that we're using for all the orders right now. The manager ended up putting all of the bags and everything in the back and putting the regular cups and bags out and took it off the menu because it was just basically taking up space. Which, by the way, that was the weirdest fucking meal anyways. How the hell, like, you have to share fries and a pie, and one person got the dollar menu cheeseburger, and the other one got the freaking Big Mac or quarter pounder or whatever it was. Like, how did you decide that? Like, who's gonna get what? That sounds like a fucking recipe to get in a fight with your partner. The only way that that meal would have made sense if it was like a mom and kid meal, like you're splitting it with your toddler when you pick them up from preschool. So yeah, like they're not, you don't want them to have a whole pie and they're not going to finish a bunch of fries or eat like a normal size sandwich. But even at that, like, a little kid's gonna want chicken nuggets. They're not gonna want the cheeseburger. And so it was just like, who the hell thought of this? Hey, BJ. And then it was just giving cheap and fucking didn't make any damn sense. I would be hella mad if somebody was like, oh, I got us this meal to split, and then it was like, okay, well, I guess you're eating the cheeseburger because I'm taking the fucking quarter pounder. Like, I need to eat. I know, the sweetie meal was good. I had the sweetie meal. Oh my god. And remember how nobody got those damn dolls anyways? You guys, did anybody ever get their WAP merchandise? Remember it was like a year later and people still hadn't gotten it? And then on top of it, she tried to sell merch that had her and Off-Cheat's face on it with the McDonald's logo. Why the hell would anybody want to be associated with any of that? It was just a t-shirt full of trash. You could not pay me enough to walk around wearing a fucking shirt with Off-Cheat's face on it, or hers, or McDonald's logo on it. Like, who wants that? That was just the dumbest shit ever. Like, what? I mean, I'll wear a takeoff shirt, but I'm not wearing a fucking Off-Cheat shirt, especially with the McDonald's logo on it on top of it. No, Playboy is still like on the verge of completely shutting down. Cause remember, like they were trying to like compete with OnlyFans, and they had their app. And I don't know if you guys remember, even Jordan Woods was like on the Playboy app, and it was like, oh, you can pay for my exclusive content and see my lingerie pictures. But like most people were just like, if I'm gonna pay for somebody's private content, like, no, you better be on OnlyFans, bending it over and busting it fucking wide open and doing ungodly things to yourself or with somebody else. I'm not paying just to see you like, oh, look at me standing in my fucking teddy and you can't see anything and I'm underneath a rainbow and how artistic is this? And so that flopped. So they just needed Tristan on it. Well, and especially when they were like, oh, because I've seen people trying to say her whip shots are successful. Yeah, but who was one of the very first rappers to have their own liquor? Miss Nicki Minaj, Mixed Moscato, and guess what? Because again, I'm the same age as Nicki, so like I grew up with her. You know, like we both sort of like spent the majority of our adulthoods together at this point in my head. All of a sudden, when Nicki came out with her Mixed Moscato, everybody started drinking Moscato, even if you weren't drinking the mix. Like, most people didn't even know what the fuck Moscato was. And I just remember, like, all of a sudden, girls everywhere, like, if they couldn't get the Nicki Moscato, like, if you were out at a club or a bar, they were getting other kinds of Moscato. Same things at restaurants. Like, they were, like, flying off the shelves. And suddenly, like, she put Moscato on the map. Carlos does not have that impact. And she's just copying. Same thing that, remember when Nicki came out with her MAC lipstick line, how fast that shit sold out? And that wasn't no Kylie Cosmetics where they're like, oh my God, you guys, we sold out in 10 minutes, but you only had 10,000 units available anyways. I remember like Mac like having to like order so many, and they said that it was like, because Mac was really transparent with it, that they like sold millions upon millions of them, and they still sold out in like 30 seconds because they had them at every Mac location and online. And I remember because I wanted to go get one, and the freaking line in the mall at the Mac store was literally all the way out from the Mac store in the mall to the freaking parking lot. And I just remember being like, okay, there is no way in hell I'm getting any. And then people were literally turning around and being like, they're already sold out, and just completely leaving the mall because the only reason that they were there was to get Nikki's lipstick. So, you know, Nikki has such an impact that none of these girls have or have had. Even Beyonce has never had that impact. Beyonce can't sell out of any of her stuff. They had a very, very, very limited quantities of the Ivy Park pieces, and you see it came out that Adidas lost $40 million dealing with her. But Nikki sold out of a freaking Fendi collection. If somebody can't sell out mid-priced Adidas, but Nikki can sell out extremely high-priced designer, that's a fucking impact. And she did that in the middle of a hate train. So, but people act like, oh, like Beyonce is so, you know, just Miss Class all the way and better than anything and everything. And I'm not shitting on Beyonce. I'm just saying, for the way that people hype her up, she still hasn't been able to have the same impact that Nicki does. So put some fucking respect on Nicki Minaj's name. Same thing with Kanye. Everybody's been, I mean, Kanye's been through the biggest fucking hate train. The biggest and longest hate train, let's be honest. But yeah, and it always reignites all over again. But yet, he was doing billions too. And that's why I'm like, man, I bet you Kanye regrets. Like, man, I shouldn't have done the fucking sneakers with Nicki for Yeezy and not sat there and been like, damn it, I have to give it to Kim because otherwise she's going to get mad at me and I'm never going to hear the end of it at home. So, but that's why, like I was saying last week on live, you guys, reality versus social media are very, very different things. Because I live right outside of the Bay Area, and let me tell you, we've had, and I go to, you know, the local TJ Maxx, whatever, and I talk to this, I always end up talking to the store manager, and because she's very out on the floor and always walking around talking to people and making sure that things are being taken care of and stuff. She told me, because they'll get, like, the Kylie and Kim stuff in, whether it's the perfumes or like the KKW lipsticks or old Kylie Cosmetics and whatnot. And she said that like she's literally requested so many times to corporate for them to not send any of their stuff to the store because it always ends up damaged and clearanced out. As in, we put it on clearance, still nobody buys it, so we have to either donate it to charity or write it off and trash it. People do not, only in the LA area of California do people really give a fuck about or care about the Kardashians. The rest of California does not give a fuck about them. A lot of people downright dislike them and hate that people outside of California even would think that any of us are like them or associate us with them. And even with all of the, oh my God, cancel Kanye because he said anything about the Jews, guess what? Everybody was still walking around where I live wearing their fucking Yeezys. I would drive down the street and people would have their windows down and be blasting Kanye's music, and nobody gave two shits that everybody online was calling for Kanye to be canceled. I had a whole sing along at the gas station with a very mixed group of people to a Kanye song one day, and this was in the middle of the cancel Kanye moment when he was trying to get out of his Adidas contract. It was literally an old white construction worker, a couple young black men, and some Mexican dudes. Because I pulled up and I was listening to Kanye and I was rolling up my window and they were like, oh my God, I love that song. And so like we all sat there and like fucking sang along to the song together and then turned it off and I thought my gas. So that's why I was like, whatever you see on social media is not what real life is about. People were not all going to go. Normal people were not all going to go and set their Yeezys on fire. People were not all going to go and order a Carlos meal at McDonald's. Just because Skims wants to claim that, you know, they're $1 billion company does not mean that people in real life are actually wearing it. I see people in real life wearing Yeti all the time, Lizzo stuff. I never see anybody wearing anything Kardashian ever in real life. And there's some real rich-ass people who live by me. I mean, there's people that drive Teslas and Maseratis around town constantly. Like, I feel like the poor person when I pull up to my kid's school in my Hyundai. So, and I see tons of people around town wearing Lizzo stuff all the time. I've never seen anybody in real life wearing Good American or Skims. The Ulta by me, they made Kylie section so fucking small because nobody really gives a fuck to like buy Kylie cosmetics. So, well, oh my God. See, this is the thing, Bubbles. I was going to say too, whatever the fuck happens with Barty Beauty, and at this point, you would have to be a moron as a celebrity to try to start a beauty brand because it's so oversaturated. Nobody wants any more AliExpress repackaged freaking private labeled lip glosses from any more celebrities. Nobody wants skincare from somebody who got their skin from Botox and the plastic surgeon anyways. So, and the thing is too, half the damn time, if you notice also, like, a lot of these people that, like, drop, like, a makeup or a skincare line, who the fuck was ever checking for you as, like, a makeup influencer anyways? Like, I always thought it was weird as shit, like, when Kim came out with her makeup line. Girl, we all associate Mario with your makeup. People wanted Mario to drop a makeup line, not you. Especially because most, like, Kim herself has said stuff like, oh, that she doesn't really do her makeup on her own. So why the fuck would we expect you to put out a makeup line when all of your makeup looks are by Mario anyways, but if it's Mario's day off, you're walking around barefaced? I mean, it's just like if we don't see you out in all of these like crazy ass like glitter cut creases and your makeup's always killing, like it made sense to me that Lady Gaga would put out makeup because she always has very dramatic, over the top looks, whatever era that she's in. Like, yeah, that makes sense for somebody like her. But honestly, Ariana Grande, not really. Like, you wore the same winged eyeliner for like and ponytail for like 15 years straight. I mean, it just being honest, and I love Ariana Grande, I really, really do. So that's why people loved Fenty because it was so different, because it was so inclusive. That's why people like Selena Gomez's makeup brands because it had all of the um, accessibility about it that you were still supposed to be able to open it easily if you had like arthritis in your hands or mobility issues. And it was still supposed to be easy to use it and put it on if you have shaky hands or anything like that. They had that going for them. Everybody else, though, it's just like, oh my God, like nobody wants any more makeup from celebrities at this point. Oh my God, I know. I literally used to be like, who is her makeup artist that hates her so much that they keep giving her those eyebrows? Because Ariana's 2018 eyebrows were really bad. Um, oh yeah, because I mean, everybody was just jumping on the train of, oh, well, Rihanna blew up off of her makeup company. So I want to do that too, because obviously we all know that music doesn't really like pay the bills. But this is the thing. How sad is that, you guys, when you really think about it, especially for people who really do truly make their own music? Not the reciters like Carlos, but people who really do have, like Chloe Bailey, you have a big hand in the writing and production and all of that, but you still can't make money off of your own intellectual property and creativity. That's really fucking sad. And honestly, instead of all of them going and running to go get Fashion Nova collabs and put out more makeup that nobody asked for, why don't they unionize? Put your fucking energy into all joining up together as artists and trying to unionize and make it so that these labels have to fairly compensate you. Because remember when Nicki and Taylor and other artists got together and demanded that streams count and that they get paid for streams because they weren't for a long time? That really changed the game for a lot of people. Why aren't they doing that? Just like, honestly, I think more artists should join together and just all sit out the Grammys and not participate in it so that they're forced to have to change the way that that whole bullshit operation goes. And that's why when people are like, oh my God, Nicki never got a Grammy and want to keep like rehashing that old ass thing, I'm like, okay, but if two of the biggest artists, being Drake and The Weeknd, don't submit their music to the Grammys anymore and they don't care about it, does that really mean that it even means anything at this point? Because they're still over there collecting all their awards from other shows and getting all their accolades for being, what do we always think of with Drake? He's the king of number ones. What does people think about The Weeknd? He has the most Spotify listeners. Do you think that if the Grammys actually meant something that they also wouldn't want to be known for that? But like, they don't participate in it for a reason. So obviously it doesn't mean shit because it's really just payola and favorites. So I'm just looking at the chat real quick. Exactly. They do need to find a gap in the market, Cena. There will never be another MJ. You know, this is the thing why I always think that that's so annoying. There's never going to be another Michael Jackson. There's never going to be another Whitney Houston, another Prince, another Tupac, another Biggie. But again, the same way of why would you only want your career to be associated with and attached to fighting with Nicki Minaj? Why would you only want your career being associated with and attached to being Michael Jackson's replacement or whoever else that they're hyping you up to be? Wouldn't you want to just become a legend in your own status? Michael never sat there and tried, both Michael and Prince, because they both cited that James Brown was a huge influence on them, but neither one of them ever tried to be James Brown's replacement. They very much wanted to be known as their own people and had their own unique style, even though they were both influenced by the same person. But you couldn't say that Michael and his music and performances were just like James Brown, and you definitely couldn't say that about Prince. And Prince and Michael both had very different sounds and styles. And that was smart as fuck of them. And they went down as legends because of it. Well, Scratch Off should look at what's going on in reality and understand that there is absolutely no benefit to trying to be known as Cardi B Jr. at all. But listen, this is the woman that willingly lays down and sleeps with a married man. So obviously she doesn't mind taking other people's leftovers and seconds. So should we really be surprised? Well, and that's the thing too. I mean, honestly, if you were going to compare anybody to Michael Jackson, to me it would be Chris Brown. So, and you know what? Here's something for some of these people that don't know like where their place is in the market. Guess what? What blew the fuck up during the pandemic and has still continued to grow, but has always had a ton of people into it anyways? Gardening and plants. And I'm not talking about marijuana. We don't need any more celebrity marijuana strains either. Why don't they have, like, why didn't Taylor Swift come out with her own line of snake plants? And you could get little pots to put them in that match the album covers and make little like plant pots as merch, and then you can go to Home Depot and get your Taylor Swift snake plant to put into it. That's something that people are into and they're not going to stop being into, and we're going to continue to see plants and gardening grow, and nobody has tapped that market yet because she's got everybody wearing light up wristbands at her concert to create a snake in the crowd because she took advantage of Kim called me a snake, so I tried to turn that into a benefit for myself. They come out with Swift snake plants. Didn't her parents have a Christmas tree farm? So it's not like it's so far-fetched and that you guys don't have experience in that in your own family anyways. But I'm just saying, get creative with that. And listen, we do not need any more celebrity marijuana strains. Please, God, stop with that too. Because as somebody who has used marijuana for both recreational and medicinal purposes, let's be honest, usually, unless it's like the Cheech and Chong one, it's like 13% THC, and then they want to charge you like $150 for like a freaking half-gram joint that nobody wants anyways. And it's like, okay, so I would have to smoke 5 of these to even like get any benefit from it and pay a bazillion freaking dollars for this, or I could just go get some normal ass freaking tree from the dispensary that's like a quarter of the price and actually has something in it that's decent. Like, we already have Camino brands. We already have a bazillion other kinds of brands and things. Every dispensary also has its own stuff that they sell. We don't need a freaking Kendall Jenner anxiety strain. That's the other thing that's annoying too when I see all these celebrities that have their own like strains. Unless you're Wiz Khalifa or Snoop Dogg, that we associate you with being a pothead. So yes, it would make sense that you would want to have your own strain and cultivate it because you know something about it. For all the rest of them, I take you as seriously as I take J-Lo, the self-proclaimed non-drinker who just came out with her own liquor line. And you're married to somebody that has a very long documented struggle with their sobriety. And there is a bazillion interviews of you constantly attributing your figure and your youthful looks to the fact that you don't drink alcohol, but now you came out with your own liquor. And it's called DeLola when nobody's ever fucking called you Lola in your entire life. We've called you J-Lo. So I was just like, oh my God, girl, really? And you know what? Again, do you know what would have made more sense? If she came out with her own line of Hispanic-leaning mocktails. I made a non-alcoholic version of coquitas and chiladas and margaritas so that way you can still enjoy a drink with your friends without the alcohol in it. But if you did want to, then you could add your own tequila or rum and make it an alcoholic drink. That would have made a hell of a fucking lot more sense. Well, that's the thing. When Kendall and freaking Chloe keep talking about their anxiety, and then they're always complaining that people are dragging them and bullying them. Okay, first of all, if y'all get so freaking upset constantly that people have an opinion on your life, stop doing the damn show. I mean, that is the most hypocritical bullshit that you could ever see. There are plenty of people that keep their private lives private and don't put everything out in the world for people to see. Look at Zendaya. Nobody ever even knows if her and Tom Holland are together or not until we get like a random ass paparazzi picture of them. But nobody knows what's going on with their lives otherwise. Same thing with, look at Selena Gomez. Yes, she has her cooking show and she has a TV show, but she's not on her cooking show being like oh, I'm making this pasta for Zayn Malik to come over and eat later, and then I'm going to bone him. Like, no, she just keeps it to the topic at hand, but she still remains private about her private life, and it's just that Dumas or TMZ or Page Six will air out whatever else she has going on in her life. But Chloe wants to constantly get on keeping up with the Kardashians and talk about how Trash Can cheated on her again. Then get on there the next season, talk about how he's going to therapy and he's changed and they're working everything out, only for the season to end with him cheating on her again. And then gets mad when people have an opinion on it. Like, girl, stop telling us that you're taking this man back over and over and over again if you don't want people to drag you for it. It's easy. Keep it under wraps. And this is the other thing, though. The fact that they're still even doing this show proves to you that they are not the billionaires that they claim to be. Because if you are a real billionaire, Kim, you're running this $1 billion company, you have 4 kids, and you're also trying to be a fucking lawyer, how the hell would you even have time to film a reality show, number one? Why would you even want to film a reality show? Wouldn't you want to be at work in business meetings or at school or with your children? Instead, same thing with Kylie. You have this so-called $1 billion cosmetics company and 2 little kids at home. Why would you, and you're supposedly the one that doesn't really want to go on the show. Why do you even go on it then? You want to know why, guys? Because their businesses are not as successful as they claim that they are. And if they were, they wouldn't need to be on the damn show. But they know that unless they're in our faces, constantly talking about Good American and Skims and Kylie Cosmetics and 818 Tequila and all of that, that we're all going to forget that they even own these brands. They're going to lose their relevance, and nobody's going to continue to support them. That's what it really is. I mean, and even when people are like, oh, Courtney's the down-to-earth one. Why did Courtney come back to the fucking show then, and why did she have her own special with fucking Travis Barker? She just didn't like the way that she was being treated by her sisters, and she didn't like that the old show was focused so much on her relationship with Scott anymore. That's what her real problem was. It wasn't because she just wants to go hide in a cave with her kids. The kids were just the freaking excuse. Because they were always constantly dragging Scott and his freaking girlfriends around and all the other stuff that Scott had going on, and she didn't want to deal with him. Exactly. Well, you know what? They need to give Britney her $600 million back. And this is the other thing, too. Let's be honest here. Because first and foremost, if y'all haven't figured it out, allegedly, just saying that to cover my ass, isn't it interesting that $600 million went missing from Britney Spears' account, and by a lot of industry experts' estimations, Britney should have been the very first singer and beauty mogul who was declared a billionaire just off of her perfumes, because she's been the #1 perfume seller for like 20 years in multiple countries at this point. And that she should have had $600 in her account, or $600 million, not the 60 that they said was in there and that she's worth. And isn't it interesting that Kylie Cosmetics sells for $601 million? And guess who used to manage Britney? Lou Taylor. Guess who's in charge as a business manager for all of the K-Clan? Lou Taylor. They just money laundered, allegedly, in my opinion. They just money laundered all of Britney's money through the K-Clan. They put it in their account so they could secure all them damn equity and mortgages that they all carry. Because if y'all didn't know, the K-Clan has a bazillion fucking second mortgages, lines of credit, home equity loans. Like, they've been exposed by people that worked in the higher sides of, like, Wells Fargo and companies like that. And that's what they've all been basically, like, living off of, was all these loans and credit, really. Not actual liquid cash that they made. Give Britney her money back. But also, on that, I think if you're the K-Clan, you should also be nervous, because if Lou Taylor was willing to do that shit to Britney, you think she ain't gonna do it to you someday? The second that you're no longer relevant, the second that you don't make her any money anymore, she's gonna fuck y'all over too. So, oh yeah, Kel, I talked about the chart manipulating earlier. Yes, I mean, Britney is much more relevant than Kylie anyways, and perfume is something that even if you're not super into makeup and skincare and all of the other kinds of beauty things, even if you're not super into fashion, most people still wear some sort of fragrance. I know there's some people out there who are super, like, you know, hippie crunchy that don't like to wear any, like, scented products. And of course, there's people that have really bad allergies that don't. Listen, I have really bad allergies, and you will never get me to stop wearing perfume. I love my perfume. But my stuff is all pollen from the trees anyways. It's not from perfumes and candles and fragrances anyways. It's pollen related. But, you know, you can look it up, because I think last time I read about it was something like 80% of people do still wear some sort of fragrance, whether it's cologne or perfume or body spray or scented lotions or whatever. So that's why it's such a big market, again, with not only, you know, celebrities, but then all the design houses like Chanel and Gucci that also put out their own scents. So but that's why they were saying that Britney should be technically considered a billionaire, because she sold like hundreds of billions of dollars worth of her perfumes over the years. Oh my God. See, Lindsay? I mean, that's the thing. Just like people who are allergic to like cats and dogs, but they'll just take Benadryl and still go adopt a pet anyway. And just hope that, you know, they'll get used to it through like basically exposure therapy or something. So, yep. And did you guys see that Kylie did an interview, and I have to get off of here in the next 15 minutes because I gotta go get kiddo from school because it's a minimum day. Um, but did you guys see that Kylie did an interview saying, "Oh, it's this big misconception that I got all this surgery," and just tries to blame it on the lip fillers and says that angles and hair and makeup does a lot. Okay, well, girl, we've seen you plenty of times without makeup on, and your face still looks entirely different than it used to when you were younger. So that is not a fucking excuse. And we've seen every single person in your family without makeup at this point. Y'all still have completely different freaking features. You can't just blame the different noses and chins and foreheads on contouring. She's saying that she did get lip fillers, but she's only owning up to that. Just like Chloe owned up to one nose job, but nothing else. And if you guys haven't seen, this is how they try to play games with you and get around it. Chloe has very obviously had not only tons of surgeries, but multiple nose jobs. And she tries to act like it's just the one nose job that she's owned up to. And a little bit of, and then what did she say on Andy Cohen's? That she's gotten fillers, but that she doesn't like Botox. And Chloe, you can't even move your fucking face. Like that clip that went around of her and Courtney doing the lie detector test where Chloe looks like the fucking Joker and she couldn't even move her damn face. If you don't like Botox, why is your face so stiff? Maybe use Dysport, which is a different brand of Botox, but it's still the fucking same thing. I know there are some like Asian versions of Botox that are getting like FDA approved to be able to like be mass marketed in the United States because they're supposed to last longer because like regular Botox is like recommended for like 3 or 4 months or something like that. But I think the Asian ones like last for like up to a year. And the reason technically why for so long only Botox was being sold was because they owned some patent and had some agreement that like for a certain amount of time they would be basically the only game in town, but now that's expiring, so we'll see more and more like Botox similar type products enter the market. But please stop. Just like Kim, I guess, said in some interview that she gets a little bit of Botox in between her brows. They will own up to one thing and think that we're all so stupid that we're just going to be like, oh, okay, well, Kylie just got lip fillers, Chloe got one nose job, and Kim got a little bit of Botox right here in between her eyebrows. She didn't have frown lines. And that is supposed to explain why they have an entirely fucking different face than they did 10 years ago. And the thing is that what happens is, and this is why it's so unfair, then number one, you know, they're already responsible for creating so many unrealistic beauty standards and body dysmorphia in young people anyways. But then guess what happens? Young people who don't know better, then the second that they're old enough, go running to the plastic surgeon or the beauty spot and think, oh, well, if I just get lip fillers, my whole face will change like Kylie's did. If I just only get Botox between my eyebrows, then I'm going to look like Kim. If I get one nose job, my whole face will change like Chloe's did, and then they're extremely disappointed when they figure out that all that did was smooth out your forehead, but it didn't change your whole face, or now you just have bigger lips, but you still have the same body and the same jawline and the same everything else. But to them, it's just like, oh, look, I'm being so transparent, you guys, because I owned up to I got lip fillers. Bitch, we all knew you got lip fillers. Tell us everything else you did, because it's a hell of a lot more than that. Well, yeah, and just like how they tried to be like, we're in the gym, we work out, and then you see them in the gym, and they're like with weights that are as big and heavy as my lip gloss and my pen. Girl, that is not how you got your fucking ass. Knock it the fuck off. Nobody got an ass because they did squats with a 1 pound fucking weight. Nobody lost a bunch of weight because they started weightlifting 1 pound barbells in horrible form at that. Like, I'm not even I'm not a trainer. I am somebody that has worked out in the past. Obviously, I need to get back into that, but that's another story. And I'm just saying, with my limited amount of knowledge and experience, I can very well see that you don't know what the fuck you're doing and your form is horrible. We all saw the Ellen situation when she was telling you, Chloe, to do all of these very common exercises, and you didn't know what any of them were, but yet you work out all the time. Okay. And exactly, all these celebrities that are like, oh my God, you guys, I went vegan and I started working out with a trainer and I got a nutritionist trying to cover up their Ozempic weight loss. Really? So you've been rich this entire time and never once in all of the years that we've known of you working with trainers and nutritionists and having private chefs and going, at 6 a.m. every day to work out. It took you all this time to finally start losing weight. And then in that, you just miraculously drop 40 pounds in a month. Really? No. Like, stop it. They just think that we're all so fucking stupid and blinded by them that we're just going to be like, oh my God, you guys, Chloe went vegan and that's where her whole butt went. Really? Really? That is not how that happens, but sure. And they just took advantage of the fact that Kim needed to lose weight to fit the Maryland dress and that Chloe was stressed out because of trash can to go get on Ozempic to lose a bunch of weight and try to blame it on something else. When it's like, really, Kim? Because even when you supposedly lost 16 pounds in 2 weeks to fit into that dress, they still couldn't fit it over your ass and you ruined it. But now all of a sudden your ass is way smaller than it was. Just admit you went and got your freaking BBLs removed. Like, literally do the world a favor and admit that. It is not that easy, nor can you target weight loss so that it only happens in your ass, just like you can't only target weight gain and muscle gain so that it's only in your butt either. I mean, that's the other thing that they think that we're all stupid about, that we believe, like, oh, you can gain 20 pounds and it's only going to go to your butt. And you're not also going to get fat arms or a gut or any back fat. It's just only on your butt. That's it. That's the only place that it went, because you have these magical exercises that only you know how to do that made sure that happened. And then when you lost 40 pounds, you only lost it in that butt again. I love the way that people are saying that the whole family got cursed from Kim wearing that dress and then taking the hair. Because did you guys see that clip where she said that she was going to do some weird voodoo shit with Marilyn's hair when Ripley's gave it to her? So these beauty standards are so ridiculous. And this is the thing, guys. Our bodies are not trends. There is no way that you can completely change your body's natural shape 100%. Like, if you're somebody that always had a flat butt and you've never been able to build it up through working out and eating right, you're going to have to get surgery to get it. And listen, if you want to get surgery for you just because it's always been something that you wanted for years and years and years and you've never changed your mind on it, by all means, do what you need to do so you can feel good about yourself. But don't just go and get a butt because it's trendy right now, or get boob implants because it's trendy right now, or get a nose job or whatever else. Because guess what? You have to maintain those things, number one, that people act like, oh, you just go get liposuction and all your problems are solved. You have to maintain it. You're going to have to work on it and work out forever so that you can keep that shape and so that it doesn't sag. Implants, you have to get those replaced every so often. And so many people end up with implant illness that you got to keep that in mind too, and make sure that, okay, if God forbid that happens to me, or if God forbid I'm one of those people that gets all of this crazy scar tissue around the implant, that I have money set aside and the ability to recover, you know, take the time off of work, have somebody watch my kids and take care of me and drive me around when I can't, so that I can go back and get another surgery to fix it if God forbid that's what happens to me. You have to know that for the next 10 years, even if everything does work out and getting the boob implants was the best thing I ever did, I need to still be setting money aside, because 10 years from now, they are going to have to be replaced. If I get lipo, I'm forever going to have to stay in the gym to maintain it. You have to keep that stuff in mind. And, you know, so many people ran to go get surgeries to fit into whatever was the popular trend for bodies at that moment. Now all the people that made it popular are going and getting it removed and reversed and changed. And they have the money and the people and the resources to fix it and do that. We all do not. So please don't get caught up in all of that. The most important thing is to remember to love yourself first. Because no matter how much lipo and Botox and nose jobs and lip filler you get, if you don't love yourself, you still will not, despite whatever you do to your physical body. It's not going to change the self-esteem. I'm sorry to tell you. No, it's definitely not easy when you get all these stuff too. And that's the thing too, like, have you guys seen those videos of the girls in the recovery houses? I saw a video that some recovery house posted, and it was Sukiana, and she was literally on her knees leaned up against the bed, and some lady had a bedpan underneath her, and they literally were like, okay, go pee. And she was crying her eyes out, saying, I can't, it hurts too bad. While the nurse was like, you have to go to the bathroom because otherwise your kidneys are going to get messed up and we can't give you any more pain medicine until you pee. And it literally took 3 people to hold her up with one person literally on the ground with a bucket under her. I was just like, oh, hell no. Like, that, like, not that I was like trying to go get a BBL anyways, but my God, like that, if I ever wanted to, that video definitely took any desire away from me to want to do so, because that shit looked hella painful. And on top of it, I'm like, just the way my like embarrassment is set up, I don't think I could handle having to have a room full of people help me have to pee. So, but that's the thing. Like, this stuff isn't, yeah, like when you get Botox, as long as, where the lip injections, it only hurts while they're doing it, right? And then right afterwards, like maybe you're a little sore and bruised, but like getting cut open is getting cut open. Getting stuff sucked out of you or pumped into you is not an easy thing to recover from, and I think that people don't think about that side of things too. So, but anyways, guys, I have to wrap it up because I gotta get out of here and go get my kids soon. I hope everybody has a good Wednesday. Thank you for coming and hanging out with me, and we will go live and do live readings on Saturday afternoon on the main channel. And then we are so close to hitting 6,000 subs over there, you guys. We're like 90 away. So if you want us to get there sooner, share. And then when we get to 1,000 subs on this channel, we'll do a giveaway as well. But I will probably have a video up in the next day or 2 on the main channel. I just have to see when I have time to sit down and record it. I don't know who we're going to do our readings on Saturday yet. I'll figure that out. I was kind of waiting to see, like, is there any drama that's popping off before I add anybody to the list. So we will do that, but like I said, there is 1 appointment on Saturday and 1 appointment on Friday. If anybody wants to book it, psychicbellelove.com, use code Easter, all in caps, to get $15 off at checkout. If you're in Patreon, you guys have a special extra code. And if you want to join the Patreon, patreon.com/psychicbellelove. That's the only place I take requests, and we have exclusive content over there. I love you guys. Thank you for coming and hanging out with me. We'll do some more of these like hangouts as I have time to do them coming up. And I will talk to everybody later. Bye, guys.